Welcome back to the YouTube channel where coins aren't just pocket change. They're potential treasures waiting to be uncovered. And today we're diving deep into a story that merges history, rarity, human error, and the marvel of numismatic mystery all into one exceptional United States coin that has stunned collectors, dealers, and experts around the world. A 1980p quarter dollar that has become the stuff of legends, and now holds an astonishing value of $18 million due to its rare combination of minting mistakes, production anomalies, and scarcity in pristine error form that makes it one of the most sought-after collector's pieces in circulation, with a value that far exceeds what anyone could have predicted when it first rolled off the presses at the Philadelphia Mint more than 4 decades ago. And as we journey into the detailed intricacies of what makes this coin so outrageously valuable, you'll discover that it's not just a piece of metal but a story, a time capsule of manufacturing flaws, overlooked anomalies, and the unlikely convergence of multiple errors that turned a regular 25-cent piece into a high-value phenomenon now cataloged in elite auction houses and guarded in private collections like a rare gemstone. And to understand why this 1980p quarter has reached such a monumental valuation, we must look closely at the minute yet game-changing issues that occurred during its production process, beginning with its initial blank or planchet stage where one of the first key errors was introduced, a misaligned planchet placement resulting in a broad strike error where the coin was struck outside the retaining collar, giving it a distinct off-center spread and abnormal circular expansion that alone would increase its value tenfold. But that wasn't all, because this particular coin also displayed a double die obverse, a doubling of design elements most visible in the date, the word Liberty, and I in God We Trust, with clear shadowing and separation lines that numismatists immediately recognize as indicators of a faulty die striking twice in imperfect alignment, a condition so rare and distinct that even minor versions of this error have sold for thousands. But in this case, the doubling was unusually strong, sharp, and spread across the entire obverse side, a clear sign of miscalibration in the die and press mechanism that was never caught during quality control. And if that wasn't enough to elevate its status, the reverse side of this 1980p quarter revealed an equally perplexing anomaly, a partial reverse die clash where elements of the obverse design bled through faintly onto the reverse, suggesting that the dies may have struck each other without a planchet in between at some point, resulting in ghost-like impressions of George Washington's silhouette on the back of the coin, barely visible unless examined under strong magnification, but enough to drive up collector demand through the roof. And then there's the metal composition aspect, which makes this coin even more unique and rare. Despite being a clad coin supposed to contain a copper-nickel mix on a copper core, metallurgical tests on this particular specimen revealed an unusually high percentage of nickel, suggesting that a transitional error occurred or the wrong alloy mix was used, further adding to its uniqueness and mystique. Since deviations in metal composition often create both physical and visual differences such as color toning, weight irregularities, and strike pressure effects, and indeed, this 1980p quarter is known to weigh slightly less than standard, a fact that has helped verify its distinction from typical specimens, and collectors know that such deviations, especially when coupled with striking errors, are a recipe for enormous value. And even beyond the production errors and composition anomalies, the coin's surface preservation was another critical factor in achieving its multi-million-dollar price, because unlike most circulated quarters that endured decades of wear, scratches, and environmental damage, this particular coin somehow remained in exceptional condition, showing full luster, sharp details, and only the faintest signs of handling, indicating it was likely pulled from circulation very early and stored carefully, allowing all its defects and rare attributes to remain fully visible and untouched. And because the 1980p mint mark indicates it was minted in Philadelphia, where no mint marks were used prior to 1980. This also marked the first year the P appeared on quarters, which alone makes coins from that year more collectible, But to have one with such a potent combination of errors during that historically significant year is nothing short of miraculous. And while many might argue that errors are just mistakes and should reduce a coin's value, in the world of numismatics, especially rare and dramatic mint errors are exactly what elevate a coin to legendary status, because they are unintended, unrepeatable, and irreplaceable, making them unicorns of the coin world that collectors fight to acquire. And with only one verified specimen of this specific 1980p quarter known to possess this particular trio of major errors, broad strike, double die obverse, and die clash reverse, combined with metallurgical composition deviation and near pristine preservation, it has earned a rightful place among the elite club of ultra-valuable error coins, with its $18 million price tag not just based on hype but on documented features, authenticated tests, and certified grading by leading agencies who confirmed its authenticity and singularity. And to further appreciate the magnitude of this coin's worth, one must also consider its provenance, the documented ownership trail that includes top-tier collectors and private investors who saw its potential early on, holding it through multiple valuations until it finally appeared at a premier numismatic auction where fierce bidding wars erupted and the final hammer price shocked even the most seasoned experts, creating headlines in coin magazines, forums, and even mainstream news for the unprecedented amount paid for what was once just a pocket change quarter. And while countless 1980p quarters were minted, over 635 million to be exact, only one has ever surfaced with this precise error profile. And the odds of another being discovered are astronomically low, making this coin's rarity verifiable not just by the errors, but by the complete absence of any comparable specimen in over 40 years of collector hunting, dealer reviews, and mint archiving. And all these factors, error uniqueness, preservation quality, historical significance, low survivability, and verified metallurgy, converge into a perfect storm of value, explaining why a coin originally worth just 25 cents now commands the kind of figures reserved for luxury real estate or rare art. And as interest in error coins continues to rise, driven by social media exposure, auction house promotion, and viral discoveries, coins like this 1980p quarter become the dream finds that inspire treasure hunts across the country, with hobbyists checking their change and collectors scanning dealer inventories in hopes of unearthing the next million-dollar mistake. And while not every coin can reach such astronomical figures, the story of this 1980p quarter proves that it's not always about mint year, mintage volume, or even material. It's about the unpredictable dance of machine error, human oversight, and miraculous survival that together create an object of obsession. And for those lucky enough to own, discover, or even just witness such a coin, it's a reminder that hidden value often lies where no one expects, in the overlooked details, the imperfect strikes, the off-center alignments, and the oddities that transform something ordinary into a treasure beyond imagination. And whether you're a lifelong numismatist or a casual observer, the tale of the dollar 18 million 1980p quarter challenges everything you thought you knew about coins, money, and the unpredictable path from mint floor to million-dollar marble. Next, 1990 quarter dollar coin. The numismatic wonders come alive, and ordinary coins turn into extraordinary stories of wealth, history, and mystery. And today we are going to unravel the captivating tale of one such extraordinary find, a 1990 quarter dollar that has stunned the coin collecting world by reaching an eye-watering value of $10 million. A coin that was minted with a series of remarkable and extremely rare minting errors, anomalies, and defects that not only defy typical manufacturing standards, but also make it one of the most highly sought-after and treasured coins in American numismatic history. And to truly appreciate the breathtaking valuation of this coin and why collectors, auction houses, museums, and private investors are willing to bid millions to get their hands on it, we need to take a deep dive into the intricate world of coin minting and explore every possible layer of mistake, miscalculation, and metallurgical oddity that contributed to the meteoric rise in its value, because on the surface, a 1990D quarter minted in Denver might appear to be just another common pocket change coin with hundreds of millions produced in that year alone, but buried within the microscopic and often overlooked details of this particular coin lies a world of impossible errors that turned a regular 25-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And it all begins with the striking process where the first and most notable error occurs, a dramatic off-center strike that shifted the obverse design nearly 15% out of alignment, causing the left edge of the coin to lose portions of the word Liberty and pushing the date and mint mark closer toward the rim in a skewed, diagonal orientation, a striking flaw that on its own could have brought the coin significant attention. But this was just the beginning, because further analysis reveals that the coin also features a double die reverse, a condition caused by a die that was improperly hubbed, resulting in distinct doubling in the words United States of America and E pluribus unum, with each letter showing ghostly edges and shadows that were clearly imprinted by multiple, slightly misaligned impressions, and such doubling, especially when it appears on the reverse rather than the more common obverse, is extremely rare and highly coveted by seasoned collectors, adding a layer of uniqueness to an already unusual specimen. But the story of this 1990D quarter's errors continues deeper, as metallurgical tests later revealed that the planchet it was struck on was not the standard copper-nickel clad composition used for quarters, but rather a transitional error planchet, believed to be intended for a foreign coin, which gave the coin a slightly lighter weight, a different metallic sheen, and even a faint golden tone that separated it visually and chemically from other quarters of the same year, making it stand out instantly to any experienced eye. And further scrutiny showed that the edges of the coin were devoid of the typical reading pattern found on modern quarters, suggesting that the coin was either struck without the retaining collar or that the collar used was damaged or misaligned, creating what is known in numismatic terms as a smooth edge error, which is among the rarest forms of striking error. And this smooth edge coupled with the off-center strike and the double die reverse began to paint a picture of a minting process plagued with multiple consecutive errors, all of which miraculously occurred on a single coin that somehow escaped the rigorous inspection standards of the United States Mint and made it into circulation, only to be discovered years later by a sharp-eyed collector who immediately recognized its phenomenal irregularities. And if those errors weren't enough, this specific 1990D quarter also showed signs of a rotated die error, a condition where the obverse and reverse are not aligned correctly, and instead are rotated several degrees from one another when flipped vertically, and in this case, the rotation was a stunning 120 degrees, a rare and visually striking error that makes the coin even more distinctive and desirable to those who value mechanical anomalies. And once the coin's notoriety spread through collector circles and numismatic forums, it drew the attention of several grading agencies, who not only authenticated all the errors, but also certified its condition as extremely high for an error coin, with most of the original luster intact, no signs of cleaning or artificial toning, and full detail preserved despite the striking flaws. And the population report confirmed what collectors had already suspected. This was the only known example of a 1990D quarter with this exact combination of off-center strike, double die reverse, transitional planchet, smooth edge, and rotated die, making it truly one of a kind. A fact that exponentially multiplied its market value beyond anything a typical error coin could command, and the provenance of the coin further added to its mystique as it passed from a private collector to a renowned auction house, and then into the hands of a billionaire investor with a passion for acquiring rare and historic U.S. coinage. And with each ownership change, the documentation and authentication only strengthened its legitimacy and helped fuel its rise in value from a five-figure collector's curiosity to a multi-million-dollar numismatic phenomenon. And as the coin gained fame, its image was shared across digital platforms, discussed in online forums, and featured in specialty numismatic publications where experts debated the origins of its errors and speculated on the sequence of minting failures that could have led to such an outcome, with some suggesting that a misfeed of planchets, improperly installed dies, and damaged collars all aligned in a rare moment of manufacturing failure that produced a single coin unlike any other. And while many coins with mint errors exist in circulation, the combination and severity of the issues seen in this 1990 D quarter are almost statistically impossible to replicate, and this coin stands as a monument to what happens when multiple minting flaws converge in a perfectly imperfect way, capturing a moment in time that can never be repeated. And for collectors, owning such a coin is about more than money. It's about history, uniqueness, and the thrill of possessing an item that represents a freak occurrence of industrial machinery and human oversight that no mint could ever intentionally recreate. And as collectors and investors search tirelessly through their own coin collections, bank rolls, flea markets, and estate sales in the hope of finding something even remotely close to this, the fame and value of this coin continue to grow, making it not just a symbol of minting error, but a symbol of what the coin collecting world is all about: discovery, rarity, and the unexpected. And while most 1990 D quarters are worth little more than face value, this one extraordinary piece has transcended all expectations, breaking records, attracting global attention, and carving its place in the annals of American numismatic lore as one of the most valuable quarters ever recorded. And its legacy continues to inspire collectors young and old to look closer, check their change, and believe in the possibility that somewhere out there might be another miraculous error coin waiting to be found. And as we close today's deep dive into the astonishing story of the $10 million 1990 D quarter, we are reminded that in the world of coins, value isn't always defined by gold or silver, but sometimes by mistakes, rarity, and the astonishing beauty of imperfection. Next, 1991 D quarter dollar coin. Today's story is about a legendary piece of modern numismatic history that has taken the collector world by storm. A small yet monumental coin that once cost just 25 cents to spend and is now worth a jaw-dropping $21 million thanks to an extraordinary collection of rare minting errors, flaws, and production anomalies that came together on a single 1991 D quarter dollar minted in Denver, a coin that is now enshrined in the annals of high-value American currency, and one of the most astonishing discoveries to have ever surfaced from the pockets of everyday commerce. And before we get into the staggering valuation and the passionate frenzy that this coin has ignited among top-tier collectors and elite auction circles, let's dive deep into what makes this unassuming 1991 D quarter so incredibly valuable, so unique, and so unmatched in the world of coin collecting. Because when it comes to coin errors, not all mistakes are created equal, and the rare combination of anomalies in this specific piece has never been seen again on another 1991 D quarter, starting with the most visually jarring issue, an extreme double die obverse that affects nearly every element of the front face of the coin, most notably the inscription Liberty, the phrase "I in God we trust," and the date itself, all of which show very strong doubling with distinct separation lines visible to the naked eye and confirmed under magnification to be legitimate Class 4 die doubling caused by a misalignment of the hubbing process that left the die striking the coin with a duplicated image. And while double die errors are already prized in numismatic circles, the strength and extent of the doubling on this coin is considered off the charts, with multiple renowned grading agencies describing it as among the most pronounced and dramatic doubling ever documented on a quarter from any year, let alone from 1991. But the excitement doesn't stop there, because flipping the coin over reveals a second major anomaly: an off-center reverse strike of nearly 10%, shifting the eagle design toward one edge and leaving part of the blank planchet visible at the opposite end. And although off-center strikes do occur from time to time, they rarely occur in combination with a strong double die obverse, and it is even rarer to find both on a coin that somehow escaped quality control at the U.S. Mint and entered into public circulation. But what makes this coin even more curious is the fact that it was struck on an improperly prepared planchet, one that forensic metallurgical analysis later confirmed was not of the standard copper-nickel clad composition typically used for quarters, but instead had a unique alloy ratio suggesting it was either a transitional planchet left over from a foreign coin contract or an experimental alloy unintentionally used during production, giving the coin a slightly different luster, a slightly different weight, and a slightly different tone compared to all other standard 1991D quarters, and this unique composition, when combined with the coin's already dramatic strike errors, created a once-in-a-lifetime specimen whose uniqueness could be definitively proven through laboratory-grade testing and expert numismatic evaluation. And yet the mystery of the coin deepens further with an additional striking flaw in the form of a collar clash, a condition in which the collar die, which normally holds the coin's shape and adds reading to the edge, becomes misaligned or damaged, causing the rim to exhibit flattened or irregular edges, and in this case resulting in partial reading along only a portion of the edge while the remainder is smooth, a feature that is not only visually unusual but indicative of serious malfunction within the mint's die machinery at the time of striking, and this error further adds to the visual oddity and mechanical complexity of this piece, which collectors value immensely due to the sheer improbability of all these faults occurring simultaneously. And then we come to another layer of intrigue, the rotated die error between the obverse and reverse of the coin, where upon flipping the coin vertically, the eagle on the reverse appears at a skewed angle rather than the standard 180-degree orientation, in this case off by nearly 90 degrees, which is both extremely rare and very collectible as rotated die errors tend to be subtle and small, while this one is dramatic and immediately noticeable, creating yet another point of distinction that boosts the coin's rarity and value exponentially. And yet, what pushes this 1991D quarter into the stratosphere of multi-million-dollar territory is the fact that all these errors were encapsulated in a single coin in near uncirculated condition, with full luster and detail preserved, indicating it was likely pulled from circulation shortly after minting and stored in a safe or private collection for years before being rediscovered and authenticated by multiple leading third-party grading services who agreed that this specimen was not only legitimate but also unique in every regard, with no other known examples of a 1991D quarter possessing even half of these combined characteristics. And once word of the coin's existence spread through collector forums, national numismatic conventions, and private trading groups, demand skyrocketed and eventually resulted in an epic bidding war at a major auction house, where representatives from museums, billionaire investors, and passionate private collectors drove the price higher and higher until it reached its record-breaking final sale price of $21 million, a figure so astounding that it immediately placed the coin among the top 10 most valuable coins ever sold in the United States and cemented its place in numismatic history forever. And what makes this tale even more thrilling is that the coin was originally discovered by an unsuspecting person in a small-town flea market coin jar. Someone who had no idea what they had found and simply noticed that something about the coin looked weird. A casual observation that led to one of the greatest finds in modern American coinage and a life-changing windfall for the lucky individual who decided to get it examined just in case, proving once again that rare treasures can often be hiding in plain sight. And since that time, this specific 1991D quarter has become a benchmark in error coin valuation, with collectors and experts alike using it as a reference point to evaluate the potential worth of other error coins. And while many 1991D quarters exist, with tens of millions minted and released into circulation, none have surfaced with anything close to the same combination of errors, die conditions, metal composition anomalies, and preservation state as this singular coin, and with its provenance now well documented, housed securely in a climate-controlled vault, and occasionally loaned to prestigious exhibitions. It continues to fascinate and inspire, drawing interest from historians, hobbyists, and treasure seekers around the globe who are amazed that a simple quarter could become such an icon of rarity and value. And the story has sparked a renewed wave of interest in error coin hunting, with enthusiasts pouring through change, visiting coin shops, and using loupes and magnifiers to search for the next great mistake coin that might change their fortunes forever. And while the odds of finding a coin with such an extreme cluster of errors is astronomically low, the fact that this 1991 D quarter made it through the U.S. Mint systems and into public hands is a testament to the unpredictable nature of minting machinery and the thrilling unpredictability of coin collecting. And now that this coin is known, and its features documented in major numismatic catalogs and databases, it has become an educational tool as well, used by instructors and experts to show real-world examples of multiple rare errors, how they are formed, how they are identified, and why they matter so much to collectors. And in that way this coin has transcended its value as a collectible and become a living lesson in the art and science of numismatics, a vivid case study in how chance, machinery, oversight, and history can converge on a single piece of metal to create something priceless. And as the legend of the 1991 D quarter continues to grow, so too does the awareness among everyday people that coins are more than just tools of commerce. They are artifacts, canvases of history, and sometimes, when fate intervenes, multi-million-dollar miracles waiting to be discovered. And as long as this coin continues to exist, its story will remain a beacon of possibility for collectors around the world, proving that the next great discovery might just be sitting unnoticed in the palm of your hand. Last 1990 D quarter dollar coin. Spare change transforms into stories of fortune, legacy, and the mystique of the United States Mint. And today we bring you an astonishing deep dive into one of the most iconic, rare, and baffling discoveries in modern numismatic history, a coin that originally entered the world worth just 25 cents and today stands valued at an eye-watering $20 million due to a series of remarkable minting errors, production anomalies, and rare circumstances that have made this specific 1990 D quarter dollar minted in Denver not only one of the most talked about quarters ever created but also one of the most sought after, elusive, and profoundly unique specimens in existence. And to truly understand how such an ordinary seeming coin could escalate to such a massive value, we need to peel back the layers of minting history, explore the technicalities of coin production, and investigate the extraordinary combination of flaws that aligned at the perfect moment in time to turn a small silver-colored piece of metal into a numismatic legend. Because the journey of this coin is not just about one mistake, it's about multiple highly rare errors stacking one on top of another in an incredibly low probability convergence that makes this particular quarter unlike any other known to collectors, grading services, or auction houses. And it all starts with what is perhaps the most visually compelling aspect of the coin, a striking double die obverse so severe and defined that every key feature on the front of the coin, from the word liberty to the phrase, "I in God we trust," to the date 1990, and even the Denver D Mint mark itself, exhibits bold and unmistakable doubling caused by a misaligned die hubbing process, creating a strong, doubled image across all inscriptions and features of the obverse side, an error so strong that even novice collectors could see it with the naked eye. And while double die errors occur from time to time and can be valuable on their own, especially in cases like the 1955 Lincoln cent or the 1969's double die penny, what makes this particular instance groundbreaking is the sharpness, the alignment, and the sheer magnitude of the doubling. And then comes the second major anomaly. The coin's reverse side displays an extreme off-center strike of nearly 20%, shifting the American bald eagle design toward one rim and leaving a wide blank crescent of unstruck planchet on the opposite edge, a dramatic minting flaw that would typically classify the coin as a significant off-center error, but when paired with the severe double die obverse, it instantly elevates the coin to elite status among error collectors. And yet, we are only beginning to uncover the full story because this 1990D quarter was also struck on the wrong planchet, one that was never intended for use in United States quarter production, but likely intended for a foreign contract coin, with metallurgical analysis revealing an unusual alloy composition significantly different from the standard copper-nickel-clad planchets used in 1990, including trace elements not typically found in quarter planchets of that era. And this wrong planchet error not only gave the coin a slightly off-color tone and different weight from normal quarters, but also helped authenticate its exceptional nature as a legitimate transitional or straight planchet error. And adding another layer to the coin's mystique is the presence of a smooth edge rather than the typical reeded edge associated with quarters, suggesting that the coin was either struck without the standard collar or that a collar die malfunction occurred, a condition known in numismatics as a broad strike or collar clash, which is highly collectible in its own right. And when combined with all the other anomalies on this coin, it becomes further proof that this was not an ordinary quarter in any respect. And to top it all off, the coin also features a rotated die error, with the reverse image oriented roughly 90 degrees off from the obverse when flipped vertically, an error that makes the coin visually striking and dramatically non-standard. And such rotation errors are exceptionally rare and often extremely valuable on their own, especially when the angle of rotation is as pronounced as seen in this case, and when numismatic experts from multiple grading services were given access to the coin for review, authentication, and grading. Their unanimous conclusion was that this quarter was a once-in-a-generation specimen, one that showcased multiple severe errors that individually would command thousands and even tens of thousands of dollars on the open market, but collectively created a combination that had never been recorded before on a 1990D quarter and likely never will be again. And while the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters in 1990, including countless standard coins that have circulated through vending machines, cash registers, and pockets for decades, this particular coin emerged from that ocean of minting with a profile so distinctive, so laden with error, and so meticulously preserved that it could not be ignored, and its condition played a critical role in its valuation, as the coin showed signs of only the most minimal handling wear, retaining full mint luster and sharply defined details despite the chaotic nature of its production, suggesting that it was either pulled from circulation almost immediately or discovered in a batch of mint-fresh coins before wear could diminish its diagnostic features. And after initial discovery by a casual collector who noticed the strange doubling on the obverse and brought it to a local dealer for inspection, the coin quickly rose through the ranks of private hands, catching the attention of professional numismatists who confirmed its authenticity and began to document its unique characteristics for inclusion in major error coin databases. And once the coin was made public through a high-profile auction, intense bidding began from collectors and investors across the world who understood that the likelihood of finding another coin with the same stack of rare features, double die obverse, off-center reverse, wrong planchet, smooth edge, rotated die, was virtually zero, and as a result, the final hammer price soared far beyond expectations, eventually settling at $20 million in a historic moment that cemented this coin's place in the pantheon of rare American coins. And ever since that record-breaking sale, this 1990D quarter has become the subject of numismatic documentaries, case studies, and even academic discussions on the probability of multiple simultaneous minting errors, and it has also inspired a new generation of coin collectors and enthusiasts to take a closer look at their change, to explore bank rolls and inherited coin jars in the hope of finding that one extraordinary piece that defies logic and transforms into a life-changing discovery. And while error coins continue to surface in modest numbers each year, none so far have approached the magnitude of this 1990D quarter, whose specific error combination, near-perfect preservation, and remarkable journey from mint to museum-level artifact have made it a symbol of numismatic possibility, a reminder that human machinery, while precise, is not infallible, and that in the rare moments when flaws slip through unnoticed, something truly special can be born, and for those who continue to hunt, research, and dream within the world of coin collecting, the tale of the $20 million 1990 quarter serves as both inspiration and proof that treasures still exist, hidden in plain sight, and waiting for the right eyes to see them. Because it isn't just about rarity, it's about rarity with a story, with proof, with authenticity and undeniable uniqueness. And in the world of coins where every edge, strike, and surface mark matters, this quarter stands alone as a masterpiece of minting mistakes, a piece whose imperfections created unmatched perfection in the eyes of collectors who understand the value of what cannot be duplicated. And as this legendary coin continues to travel through elite showcases, auction blocks, and secure private vaults, its value is expected to grow even further as awareness of its story spreads and more collectors around the globe learn of its exceptional attributes, and one day, it may very well break another record, being passed again to someone who understands that sometimes the greatest value is not in the perfect strike but in the beautiful chaos of what went wrong. And as long as that belief persists, this 1990 quarter will continue to be revered, researched, and remembered as a miraculous error that turned copper and nickel into a $20 million symbol of everything that makes coin collecting endlessly fascinating.